exercise patience with everybody. And you do know that some people can wear on your patience. They can get on your nerves. But the Bible says be patient with them. Why do you think it is so vitally important for us to be patient with other people? Because God is patient with us. With our very sanctimonious selves, we start to think that we have it all together, but God, every day, he wakes us up. He's being patient with us. I know you come to Bible study, Sunday school, you think you have it all together, but there are still some things in your life that needs work. Before you get too sanctimonious in the sense that you're so self-righteous that you think you have it all together, from the pulpit to the pew to the pavement, every one of us have problems. And when we realize we all have problems, we learn to be patient with other folk because we know that the Lord is patient with us. And when you know that the Lord has been patient with you, it helps you to be patient with other people. You don't, they might say the wrong thing periodically. They might act the wrong way periodically, but you can't just cut them off and say, I'm done with them. You've got to learn how to be patient. What if God cut you off when you got on his nerves? And every day we get up, I'm sure we do enough to bother him. But he's long suffering. He gives us chance after chance. The mere fact you can pass the breath test, if you breathe and you feel the breath on your hand, you pass the breath test. That means that God has been patient with you. He's been patient with you. So stop walking around and saying, I don't want to deal with him. I don't have patience. God has patience for you. But then he says this. Notice what he says in verse number 15. He says in verse 15, he says, see that no one repays another with evil for evil, but always seek after that which is good for another and for all people. Paul says, because they do you bad, as a believer, the option is not there. You can't bubble in the option to do them back the same way they've done you. And I know that this will mess up somebody's morning Joe, because you have been all weekend planning how you're going to get back at that person on Monday that messed you over on last Thursday and last Friday, because last Thursday they messed you up so bad, but you had a TGIF moment on Friday. You say, you know what, I get a Monday, I'm going to enjoy this last day, but when I go home and I get a chance to think about it, the plan I have, but guess what, you can't go back and do that. It's not optional. Because he says, as a believer, you can't do this. But notice what he says in the text. It gets a little bit different. He says, but always seek after that. Always seek after that which is good. So that means that the person who has mistreated you, the Bible teaches you have to seek after a way to treat them right, even after knowingly they've mistreated you. Do you know what kind of mandate that is? The Bible says, I've got a responsibility to be good to you when I know you've been nothing but bad to me. Says to one another. When he talks to one another, he's saying to another believer, but now he says for all people. That means that's the people that don't know anything but do wrong. See, a believer, they know right, and sometimes they will do wrong. But for the person who does not know God like that, they have no moral compass to guide them in the sense, so whatever they want to do, they do it because to them it's just right. Whatever is right to them is right to them, and it's right to however they want to do it. So he says, you still have a responsibility to not only be good to the folk who've been evil to you that might be other believers, but you have to be good to the people who are also non-believers and the people that you don't know. Notice evil. E-V-I-L. A. Lewis Patterson says, spell it backwards, L-I-V-E, live backwards. Evil is living backwards. A lot of people live backwards in their lifestyles. And he's saying that some people, they might live backwards even as believers, but what about the people that this is the way of life for them? He says you still have to be good to them.